In Florida, Donna Adelson was back in court today for a case management hearing. Adelson is accused of conspiring with her son, Charlie, in an alleged plot to arrange the murder of her former son-in-law. Now, the victim was Dan Markel, a beloved Florida State University law professor who found himself in a bitter custody battle with his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson, who is Donna's daughter and Charlie's sister. Today, a trial date of September 30th of this year was set for Donna Adelson. The state also says they don't plan to offer her any plea deals ahead of the trial.
Now that we have a date picked for 9/12 being the docket sounding and the week of trial starting September 30th, probably going to end up entering a separate order that deals with a motion and discovery cutoff. So that way we're not dealing with these issues up to the wire. However, cases have a mind of their own. The cutoff date will be in place. However, if we need to address it any further from there, we will. One matter that I did want to make sure we had a clear record on, has any plea offer been extended to the defense?
No, sir.
Does the state intend to give a plea offer?
Not that I know of, but if something changes, we'll let them know.
Very well. Has your client wanted to convey any offers to the state?
None.
And again, everyone knows me well. There's not going to be any prodding or pushing about plea offers or state you making one. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, if Ms. Adelson is to make a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary decision about going to trial, that includes whether or not there is any plea offer to reject or accept. If the state is going to make a plea offer, please notify the defense promptly. From there, if the defendant intends to reject it, she will do so.
Donna Adelson did appear via Zoom at that hearing. Now, the murder for hire plot against Dan Markel is a tangled web with multiple members of the Adelson family involved in different parts. Court TV anchor Julia Janae brings us up to speed on the latest developments in the case ahead of Donna's trial.
How you doing? Just want to give you this.
Donna Adelson was the target of an undercover operation during the investigation into the murder of her son-in-law, Dan Markel. At the time of his death, the FSU law professor was involved in a custody battle with his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson, who was also Donna's daughter.
And I want to let you know that my brother, he's incarcerated. He helped your family with this problem you guys had up north.
This exchange, referred to by law enforcement as the bump, became evidence that prosecutors used to build their case against Donna's son, Charlie. He was accused of hiring the men who ultimately killed Markel. Charlie was convicted of first-degree murder, along with his ex-girlfriend, Catherine McBanawa, and the men she recruited to carry out the murder.
You are charged with 1 count of murder, 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder, and 1 count of solicitation to commit murder.
Now, Donna Adelson is also charged in the murder-for-hire scheme. The state alleges Donna played an active role in the plot to kill Markel as tensions surrounding the custody dispute began ratcheting up.
In this filing, Dan Markel alleges that on 3 separate occasions in November of 2013, the children informed him of their maternal grandmother, Donna Adelson, disparaging him. The boys indicate that, quote, "Grandma says you're stupid. She says you are trying to take her sunshines away from her." And quote, "Grandma says she hates you."
Dan Markel was seeking to restrict Donna's access to his 2 children. The so-called grandmother's motion was pending when Markel was killed.
So the motive was clearly there.
How involved were you with the divorce proceedings?
I wasn't really involved with the divorce proceedings.
Charlie Adelson downplayed the alleged motive in his trial. Donna was captured on numerous wiretaps conversing with her son.
Has there been any more drama?
No.
0.
0. But I still have some questions and things that I think need to be addressed. But, we'll do that tomorrow.
Prosecutors argued Donna was obsessed with Wendy's divorce and with beating Markel in the custody battle.
Could the defendant have cared enough about his sister's marital problems to commit murder? Maybe, maybe not. But if he didn't, his mom certainly cared enough with both of them. And she was in his ear all the time.
The 73-year-old Donna has maintained her innocence and pleaded not guilty to the charges.
All right, still with us to discuss, retired police commander and host of Profiling Evil, Mike King, and former senior homicide prosecutor, Bernardo Villalona. And Mike, I'm going to start with you in this one. You heard at the hearing today, there was discussion of a possible plea deal. The fact that the state has not offered one, they're not expecting to offer one. But at the end of the day, you got to say, it's sort of the specter of a plea deal hangs over this entire thing from the very beginning. And one can question whether a plea deal could involve Donna maybe turning on someone, let's say Wendy, or even the prospect of Charlie getting involved somehow, trying to help mom out, maybe throwing Wendy under the bus. I don't know. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's early in the game to be seeing a plea negotiation, so that part doesn't necessarily bother me. I think the things that are interesting in this case, from my perspective, are that law enforcement gave that bump along the way, knowing that there was something more to this case. So as they start to show their cards, I think we're going to see why maybe there hasn't been a plea negotiation and why they're so convinced that she was really a conspirator in this entire thing. It's difficult to think that there are not more people involved with what we're seeing thus far, and that maybe they're systematically going through them, but that's just purely a guess on my part.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem that way, Bernardo, and you were a former prosecutor. Their approach to this case has been interesting. I mean, the case against Charlie, fairly strong. In the case against Charlie, I could hear a very clear case against Donna. Not so much against Wendy, although there's some evidence against Wendy. What do you say about their approach to this case? Are they basically trying to put pressure on different people, hopefully to get some dominoes to fall? Because we're talking about judicial economy here. You have a conspiracy. Why not bring them all in, try them together? The same people are going to have to now come back, testify, go through this all over again. So your thoughts on the approach to this case?
So it has to do, well, one, we're not privy to the conversations that the district attorney's office is having with these multiple defendants, because it could be that, one, they don't want to cooperate, or they want to wait it out closer to the time of September to see who's willing to flip. Because remember, Catherine McBonwa wasn't willing to cooperate in the beginning. She went through her first trial that resulted in a hung jury and still didn't want to cooperate. It wasn't until after she was convicted that she decided she wanted to cooperate, and she testified against Charlie Adelson. So that can play a huge role here. I'm very surprised, though, that the prosecutor's now making an offer to Ms. Adelson, and the reason why is because the case is not a slam shut case. Like, it's not a very, very strong case, and there are no guarantees when you take a case to trial. So I will be hoping and waiting to see whether the prosecutor, as it gets closer to trial to September, whether they're willing to make an offer. Because if she wanted to plead guilty to the indictment itself, she could do that in front of the judge without an offer from the prosecutor. But why would you do that if you're pleading to the top count? You want something lower than the top count, because it's something that you're getting out of a plea.
Yeah, and I got to wonder, Mike King, if the big fish here, clearly, I mean, I think Donna was sort of at the top, but the main beneficiary, it can be argued, was Wendy Adelson. And we know there's some suspect behavior. You don't have her on tape, or you don't have her on phone calls as much, but she certainly was connecting with her mom about this. She drives by the scene on the day of the murder. She also was the one that asked Dan where he would be the week of the murder. So there's certainly some evidence there that she was involved in the conspiracy. Is she the big fish? Is she the one they're going after?
Boy, I don't know, and I loved your analogy of the domino, because we really are waiting to see if there are other things that are going to tip the scales here. But I mean, clearly to me, Charlie was the big fish, and from there we're seeing now if it's going to filter back. Was Mom the mastermind and drove this for everyone? Was Wendy involved? Boy, I think this is going to be interesting to see if they bring some evidence up that suggests that. So far, she's been pretty successful in keeping herself distant from the affairs of her mom and her brother. But how do you distance yourself that far from your mother and your brother?
Yeah, and
when they're dealing with your husband that was killed.
I'll tell you how. When you talk to the police, you throw them under the bus, because that's exactly what she did in that police interview. She was basically saying, my mom, they were really upset about all this. And one can argue it was really Donna who was the real winner here in the death of Dan Markel, because she was the one that wanted the kids. She was the one that wanted the kids nearby and raised a certain way, very differently from what Dan wanted at the end of the day. All right, we'll continue to follow it.